And so let the crossouts begin on this. This is much different than the Western Conference that we just looked at. And Brook Lopez did not make it back. There's not a Brooklyn Net, the third best record in the Eastern Conference. There is not a Brooklyn Net on the All-Star team.
Well, I think the only Brooklyn Net that deserves to be on this team is Brook Lopez. He holds down the paint. He's their defensive anchor. And he's busting everybody up this year. I'm really surprised that he wouldn't have been an All-Star this year.
Well, I'm talking about the Brooklyn Nets. I just think overall the firing of Avery Johnson probably hurt both he and you know, people now, they have the third best record, but people had paid attention to the fact that their coach got fired and D. Will supposedly had something.
But the coaches voted.
No, but coaches don't like other coaches getting fired. Without question.
But he didn't.
Coaches do not like other coaches getting fired. And this guy, you know, right here, as much as you say Brook Lopez is playing great, this is an off season for him. 17-9.
No,
17-8.
He hasn't been playing well.
No, but 17-8 is an off season.
He's already said he's not playing.
He's
Right.
not playing
off
well.
season, off numbers. But listen to what I'm saying. That's off for him. There's guys who on the All-Star team don't have numbers like 17.
His numbers are nowhere even near Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard.
Damian
Lillard. Brook Lopez is the best player on this team. Like, it's not even.
I'm not fighting for D. Will to be on the team.
No, but I'm saying
I think
Fighting
that
for
even
Brook Lopez to be on the team.
I'm not fighting for Brook Lopez to be on the team either.
I am.
I just feel that.
Are you?
I'm fighting for Brook Lopez, but he already spoke on Brook Lopez. I'm kind of upset J.R. Smith didn't make the team. You know, last year was a unorthodox year for him. You know, this year he's more focused. You know, playing with a lot more energy, playing with a lot more consistency. You know, he's hitting big shots. You know, he wants to challenge. You know, especially every time Carmelo's not in the game. You know, he wants to, challenge of, being the man on the team.
Second leading scorer on the second best team in the Eastern
Conference. Name a player that does more in their role than him. Defend, hit game-winning shots when Carmelo was out. Defends the best player on the team, and they changed the culture of that Knicks team. You know, and that should go into a little bit.
You know what made it interesting to me, Ernie, as well, is that Dang and Noah made it, but not Lee and Steph Curry. Yeah. It's the same scenario to me. So. They have a better record than you expect. They have two guys that are really doing it. Three actually in Chicago, because Boozer probably, he won the NBA Player of the Week last week. Yeah. Carlos Boozer won the NBA Player of the Week and can't make the All-Star team. But that is a difficult situation. That's why the Steph Curry to me thing is even more.
No Nets on there, no Hawks on there. A lot of folks thought Josh Smith might have a chance.
I did too.
I thought Josh Smith should have definitely had a chance.
But you talk bad to coaches, other coaches hear that.
Yeah, well, you know what? And the thing is, a lot of players you see in the week or 10 days leading up to the selection by the coaches have turned it up a notch and say, hey, he's making an all-star push. Josh Smith almost went the other direction. Got suspended by the team at one point. Numbers dropped a little bit. Team went in a nosedive. And so he does not make it. Let's go to Charles again. You were really hot about Steph Curry in the West. Are you as hot about anything in the East?
No, not really. I think I was happy. Noah's my favorite player. And Dang is
But you didn't vote.
How
did you not vote for Noah? He's your favorite player, man.
Yeah, because I wanted to reward Carlos Boozer. Kenny just touched on. He's been playing fantastic the last. Karen, it's not it or her. You're gonna get to pick everybody you want. The only person I'm upset, I really would have liked for J.R. Smith to make the team. He's the second leading scorer on the team that's in first place.
Hey, Chuck, I have a question.
Yep.
What is it or her? You said it's not an it or her. What you talking about?
It ain't like you get to pick a guy.
What is it or her?
It's nothing against the other guy.
What is it or her?
Noah and Boozer.
He's gonna go
Noah
over.
Boozer either way.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Dang made it. To be honest with you, it could have been Boozer or Noah. I would have been happy either way. I'm just disappointed for a guy like J.R. Smith because listen, these guys. Maybe once in their entire career, a quote-unquote, having an all-star year. I root for those guys.
Yo, man, get out of here, man. Yo, Chuck, man, you made some valid points just now. And you are here, but I still,
I think it was.
I can't breathe.
Chuck, did you say it's not an either-or thing in this? Is that what? Is that?
Well, I don't look at it like that. You guys talking about, you go back to the West, you guys talking about Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. Those guys, they're Hall of Fame players. Jamal Crawford never going to have a chance to make the All-Star team. This is probably the only time that J.R. Smith is going to have a team that's in first place. He's the second leading scorer. I think you reward those guys. Those guys, listen, they're having, you quote-unquote, all-star seasons. Like those other guys are perennial all-stars. I like to reward the guys who have like a great first half.
Yeah.
And
you
I
talk
wanted
about
Jamal Crawford and J.R. Smith to make the team.
You talk about team success, too, and that should factor in. How can you not have any Brooklyn Nets on that team?
I have Lopez on my
No.
list.
How could the coaches not put a Brooklyn Net on that team?
Well, because you know what? They're mad. Somebody just said it. Those coaches, man, they're mad because Darren Williams got the coach fired. So they were hating on the Nets.
So hating on Brook Lopez?
They're hating on the Nets.
Okay.
Yeah. Coaches stick up for each other, Ernie.
All right, no.
I think
I understand
one of those guys in the studio said it.
I agree with you. I think that, you know, and it's a obvious statement because no Net made it and no Hawk made it. And the only Hawk that would have made it was Josh Smith. But what he did over the last 10 days negated everything he did over the first 90. Yeah. So I mean, what he did in the first, I'd say the first 30 games of the NBA season.
He was,
I mean,
17-8-4 and number 6 in the league in blocks. And the Hawks did have it rolling for a while. They've struggled lately. They're 24-18 and number 6 in the East.
I mean, you're still 6 in the East. You're still a playoff team. You're struggling, and you're still 6 games over 500. So that shows how much success this team has had. But I think the concentration really hurt.
Something?
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
Okay, you know, we always talk about winning. Listen, I'm happy for Drew Holiday because I'm a fan. I'm happy for Kyrie Irving because I'm a fan. But those teams aren't close to winning like the Knicks are. And I love Tyson Chandler. He deserved to make it. But realistically, J.R. Smith, when Carmelo was out, Amar's been out pretty much all season, I really wanted J.R. Smith to make this team.
I think 3 Knicks should have made it. I think overall, because all of those guys have value. And I think the Tyson Chandler's value is the same, honestly, as J.R. Smith. His is just more impactful on the offensive end. But on the defensive end, if you take Chandler out of that lineup, the Knicks are not a playoff team. So I think they're both an impact. I think the number 1 team should have 3 players on there.
So the way it stands right now, and this is something we've talked about before, there hasn't been a bench player make the All-Star team since '98 when Kobe did it. When Manu made it, he was a starter in those years. You had a chance with Jamal Crawford and J.R. Smith this year, but as things stand right now, unless there's a replacement for an injury or something like that, that streak will continue.